Good morning, everybody. It's a beautiful morning. Welcome to another session of Food Vibrations. I'm actually really enjoying doing these videos for you, and of course, cooking. I always love cooking. I don't need an excuse. Yeah, I mean, it's getting kind of cold at the moment. We're kind of fluctuating between sunnier days, sunnier, warmer days, and colder days. So I'm thinking going towards the colder side and towards winter, I want to show you another dish that's really hearty and warm and warming for those colder days. And then, of course, also packed with immune boosting ingredients. I just want to say again that I'm very grateful to be able to eat really beautiful, nutritious, wholesome food that's good for the body. Saying the word beautiful, I actually remembered that watching the last video, I called every ingredient beautiful. Sorry to be repetitive, but that's how I feel about all these ingredients. I don't know why, I get so passionate about food and plant-based ingredients. I'm just so grateful to what our Mother Earth has provided for us to make the most amazing foods, and really the journey never ends with cooking. I feel like you can keep innovating, keep experimenting. There's no shortage of dishes. It's actually limitless. So yeah, it's a really fun, creative thing to do, especially at these times. I think that not being able to leave the house, maybe we feel that it limits our creativity. But actually there are so many things to do, so many creative things in the house, and one of them is cooking. So yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to introduce the dish. It's a creamy golden cauliflower and lentil curry. I'm actually only going to make half the amount today because I keep wanting to cook new things every day, and yeah, my housemates and I need to watch it. But yeah, so let me just introduce the ingredients. Actually, this isn't red lentils. I know it's dal. I realized that I didn't have red lentils, which I usually do. So I decided I'm just going to use the dal that I have, and it's also something that you don't need to pre-soak, and that cooks in the same amount of time. But yeah, please use red lentils. Also, dal is fine. It cooks in the same amount of time, so it's all good. And then I've got some cauliflower. I was about to say beautiful cauliflower, but it is so beautiful, isn't it? It's also an immune boosting ingredients, packed with vitamin C and antioxidants. And then we've got garlic, which makes its way into all my savory dishes. Also good for the immune system, as is onion, which I've mentioned before. And then we've got our spices. We've got some organic turmeric, and then some medium curry powder, which has a whole bunch of lovely spices that are good for the immune system. And then, of course, ginger, and it's quite a generous amount. Also really filled with antioxidants and immune boosting. And yeah, just a note on that. I often mention that I have organic produce, and I know that not everybody is able to, but if you've got a little veggie garden, even if you're just growing herbs, or an organic place, especially an independent shop near you at this time, they're really not that much more expensive. Actually, maybe they're not even more expensive than perhaps the things that you buy at Woolworths. And it's really amazing for me to be able to get fresh organic produce that's grown locally, and that's also supporting a small business. So yeah, that's just a note on that. And then I've got some organic coriander, fresh coriander. For this recipe, I've divided the stems and the leaves. You'll see why. And then once again, we've got some stock, vegetable stock. It's the gourmet stock that I get from Whole Food Connections. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Health Connection Whole Foods, sorry, I mixed that around, and that is gluten-free, which I've mentioned in my last video. And then I've got some full-fat coconut milk that I have made myself. Yes, it really is actually homemade, and it's that easy. Basically, I've just taken desiccated coconut and put 1 part desiccated coconut to 1 part water. What I've done, just to make it creamier, is I boiled the water, added it to the desiccated coconut, let it stand until it cools, and then I put it in the NutriBullet for a minute or two and strained it through a nut bag. And then what you get, the result is this beautiful creamy coconut milk. Again, this is half the portion. It's half a can actually. I looked it up. A can is 400 mils. And that is that. I will show you how to make the curry now. Okay, so what I've done is I put a splash of the vegetable broth into a pan. You can actually also do that with coconut oil, but I decided because there's quite a bit of coconut milk, I'm just going to put a splash of broth in, and I just cooked the onions. I just covered it up put it on low heat and just cooked it in the broth for, well, it can be around 3 to 5 minutes depending how translucent you want them. At this stage I'm adding the garlic, the ginger, and then interestingly enough, this is the only recipe I've had to do this with, I'm putting in the stems, which I think is very cool actually, considering they're organic as well. There's probably a lot of goodness in there. And cooking for another 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, so what I've done now is I've also then added the turmeric and the curry powder. The thing is that it had gone a bit dry because of the broth evaporating. So what I decided to do was add a little bit of coconut oil so that the spices could fry in the coconut oil and release a bit more of their flavor. So yeah, there you go. And at this point I'm adding, well, for you it would be the red lentils. It's the dal that I've rinsed. There might be a tiny bit of water still left there. You just want to stir that in, along with now the thyme for the broth. At this point I'm putting the heat right up, and the coconut milk, the beautiful coconut milk. Can't help myself. And at this point you would also then add the cauliflower. Just note that this cauliflower is probably enough for the full portion. It's actually quite a lot, but I decided I want to use all this cauliflower, so I'm just going to put it all in. But to be honest, there's no such thing as too much cauliflower. I stand to be corrected, but I don't think so. And it all depends on, you know, what you like, how you like it. So yeah, I decided I'm just going to add all the cauliflower in now. And you're basically just waiting for it to start simmering, and then you'll put it to medium. You'll put it to medium to low heat and cook it for around 20 to 25 minutes. And we are done. I am so pleased with the results. Look at this beautiful golden, sorry, beautiful, but it is so beautiful, golden, creamy cauliflower, coconut, lentil curry, if I have it in the right order, I'm not sure. Just a note that I found that, and I think it's because I had it, so I've got a gas stove, and even the lowest was too high, so it cooked quicker, and so I actually had to add some water during the process, actually quite a bit of water, because I think that it's just the water evaporated too quickly and it was starting to stick. But just even if it's not too high for you, just make sure that you keep checking it and stirring it to make sure that it's not drying out. Add a little bit of water, just a couple of splashes every time to make sure that it still stays nice and creamy and it doesn't dry out. Another note that I said to cook it for 20 to 25 minutes, but it was actually 18 to 20 minutes, which is in the recipe. Lentils and dal don't take long to cook. And then once you are done, you can drizzle some more coconut cream or coconut milk onto this, just to serve if you like, if you have some left over. And then of course I am garnishing it with this really amazing organic coriander. Another thing is that I added some salt as well, because it only has salt from the vegetable broth, and for me that's not enough. I do love salt, I'm a bit of a salt fiend. So there you go. I'm probably gonna serve this for myself, to myself, with brown basmati. I also have white basmati that works well. Otherwise, if you're not doing rice, I think this is great with some sambles. Maybe you can make some out of grated cucumber or chopped tomatoes and some more fresh coriander, maybe some raw white onion. I like that as well. And maybe even a squeeze of lemon. I hope that you enjoy and that you have a beautiful day.